Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and today I'm excited to take a look at a new pedal from Keeley Electronics and another Andy Timmons signature pedal from them. It's the Nocturne, and it's been fun to see and hear about the collaboration between both Robert Keeley and his team and Andy Timmons to help bring some of Andy's ideas and sounds in his head to life in pedal form. This all started with the Halo and now the Halo Core, which you've maybe seen on the channel. A really cool stereo delay that captures that classic Andy Timmons halo effect, which is created by these cascading delay repeats. And the Nocturne is a fun next step in that story by trying to recreate the halo effect as more of a reverb, to utilize some of the ways that they create that just really cool atmospheric and angelic type effect, and put it into a reverb pedal that has a lot more dwell and ambiance. And so the team over at Keeley, along with some feedback from Andy along the way, got to work on developing this reverb patterned after that halo effect. And I think the end result is a really beautiful ambient leaning reverb that has a way of sitting around your notes and your playing in a really delicate and serene kind of way, as you'll hear in the sound samples coming up. It's kind of unlike a lot of reverbs I've played in that way, where it doesn't drench your sound in reverb and it doesn't kind of obscure the notes or the chords that you're playing, but just kind of dwells and hangs out around the notes, for lack of a better phrase. And so it's really an awesome reverb for folks like me that like to create those big soundscapey, ethereal ambient moments, to create big washy swell or pad type layers in their writing or playing. And it also just works as a nice modulated reverb that can offer some bloom and some depth to your notes and your playing. There's a number of ways you can use Nocturne, and it definitely leans toward that ambient soundscapey type sound. And I think it also works really well with the Halo core to deliver some really dynamic stereo ambient sounds and textures. I love that Keeley has leaned into this form factor and this interface. It's a really refreshing response to some of those menu rich kind of deep dive pedals that have become more prevalent in the market these days. I don't have a ton against those pedals, and I know that there's a lot of users that really love that degree of control over their effects and their sounds. But for me personally, I love having sort of a what you see is what you get interface, and the Keeley does that really well without sacrificing a ton. And you can just get going on creating or playing really quickly with this pedal. So you have up top here a tone control that adjusts the darkness or the brightness of the reverb. You've got your reverb level, which sets the amount of reverb that's happening. You have your decay control, and then your modulation control here. You also have a couple alternate controls, just 2 on this one, and that includes a high pass filter that's under the tone control here to shave off some of that low end and really brighten up or kind of thin out the reverb decay. And then you also have a pre-delay control that can be useful if you want to add a little bit of bloom to your reverb before the effect kind of sets in, and it's a nice addition to this pedal. They also continue to make little improvements and refinements to this interface that I think go a long way and also make me excited for future offerings, because it's just that incremental improvement of quality of life for the user. Mainly, you have this little push button up here that lets you cycle through the 3 different reverb modes, and that switch also doubles as the alt control button. So you'll push that and dial the 2 knobs here if you want to adjust the high pass filter or the pre-delay, as opposed to having to press the foot switch on some of the previous versions that got a little bit clunky. Also, you have MIDI on this pedal, which is a great addition for those that like to use MIDI, and you also have that stereo in and out and expression input on this pedal as well. You have the ability to recall a preset on the face of the pedal here with this right foot switch. It alternates between sort of what you see is what you get mode and the preset mode, and that just adds some flexibility and versatility in live settings to recall that preset on the fly. So we're going to dive in and hear some sounds now from the Nocturne mode, which is the main event of this pedal. Just a really beautiful ambient reverb that sits around your notes as you play. We're going to be using a Collings 290 with TV Jones pickups, running it into a Keeley Blues Disorder for a little bit of overdrive before hitting the Nocturne Reverb, going out in stereo onto a Walrus Audio ACS 1 Mark II, and then to my Warm Audio WA273 preamps and into my DAW. Check out the Nocturne Sounds here and come back for the other 2 modes that we'll talk about in a minute. So if Keeley would have just stopped at the Nocturne mode and had this be the Andy Timmons signature reverb pedal, I would have been happy. Those sounds are incredible, and I think that they get me really excited for writing and composing ambient music again. So it was a fun exercise to just lean into that mode specifically. But beyond that, you have the 2 additional modes that you have access to, including a really cool spring reverb sound. This captures the essence and the texture and the response of those old tube amp reverb units or standalone units from the 60s, and gives you that real, true, authentic spring sound. In this mode, the modulation control adjusts the age of the spring, and so you can get some more gritty, just kind of wore out spring textures as you dial that modulation up. And it really has a ton of range from subtle bounce to this really drippy spring reverb sound. So we're going to check that out now. The last mode they included on Nocturne is a really beautiful plate reverb sound. Plate reverb sound is one I go to often, and so it can kind of feel like a fairly universal reverb sound. This specific plate reverb sound has a cool story behind it. The Keeley team had access to the actual plate reverb from the Austin City Limits show from the 70s, and were able to research and dissect and model that actual physical plate reverb and put it into pedal form here in Nocturne. And so just a fun backstory to that, and adds to the character and the unique qualities of this plate reverb. So we're going to check out some sounds from the plate reverb mode here, and also dive into those alt functions of pre-delay and high pass filter to show you how they can help to fine tune the sound and the response of the reverb. Check it out here. So that's the new Nocturne Stereo Reverb from Keeley Electronics in collaboration with Andy Timmons. I think it's a really beautiful ambient leaning reverb that has a ton of versatility with each of those 3 modes. I continue to sing the praises of this interface and this control scheme. I am here for any future pedals that Keeley wants to make in this form because I think it's so approachable, it's so quick to find good sounds, and they've managed to make some really great sounding algorithms and contain them in a product that's just so easy to use. I love it. So thanks for watching. I hope this was a helpful video to hear and see the new Nocturne Reverb. Drop any comments or questions you've got below and we'll chat about it there, and we'll see you on the next one.